Welcome back to Los Angeles as the sun is going down. Our coverage, the third of a triple header on Pac-12 networks today. We are on the campus of USC at Merle Norman Stadium for two of the most storied programs in beach volleyball, the Pepperdine Waves versus the USC Trojans in a top 5 matchup. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside three-time beach volleyball Olympian Holly McPeak. And Holly, these two programs are two of the programs on which the shoulders of beach volleyball as a collegiate sport started.
They were two pillars. As we look to grow the sport, USC Pepperdine were so important and integral in the growth of the sport. And it was interesting because these two teams faced off for the NCAA title last year and now a rematch.
Yeah, so only 5 programs have ever taken a win off of USC, and Pepperdine has done it more than anybody. The Waves have beaten USC 8 times. And so as we look at this matchup, which pairs interest you?
To be honest with you, all 5. I think all of them are interesting in their own way. We've got lots of new players, lots of new pairs. It's going to be interesting to see how they perform, 1, under pressure, and 2, with the new competition on the other side of the net. Lots of new faces for both programs.
Both Pepperdine and USC have suffered losses today. UCLA in this triple header is going home with 2 wins against top 5 programs. Anna Collier and Nina Matthews absolutely hate losing to UCLA, but they really hate losing to each other. And so as we take a look at the 4s and the 5s, we're going to start this as we always do with 2 flights of action, the 4 and the 5s. First, on court number 2, the 5 pair has an adjustment in it, in that Nina Matthews has inserted Katie Bailey. She is going to be with Nikki Lyons against Kaiser and Poletto for USC. We're going to begin our coverage, though, on court number 1 with the 4 pairs, Caputo and Filippone, Belton and Kremer, both of whom won their matchups earlier today against UCLA.
If you look at the matchup on pair 5, lots of bigs, 4 big players out on the court, no true defenders. I would call all of those players blockers, so it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Ball's in the air. And Belton comes out and attacks first.
Starting with a good pass, Jenna Belton really consistent with her pass, and Joe Kremer delivering that good set and the cut shot from the lefty, very effective.
Kremer serves so good.
Joe Kremer pops it nice and flat, gets some good pace, clips the top of the tape, and drops. Again, USC going after Alexis Filippone, only a freshman. She's 6'2" out of Del Mar, California. She is the blocker for Pepperdine.
We've talked about it in the beach volleyball collegiate format. A win at 4 is the same as a win at 1 in terms of a point. Both of these 4s have been pillars for their teams, not just today, but in this young season already.
Yeah, they've been holding it down, getting wins at that 4 spot. And that's important because you want somebody you can depend on. And both programs have depended on these 2 teams at 4 to get a win.
Great chase down, Joe Kremer. Picks that up, but it's a hard chase for Belton.
Filippone, good block at the net, shutting down the USC transition attempt.
Belton, left hand, Caputo, digs. Off the block, just slowing it down enough that Caputo can come back for a big play for Pep.
Skylar Caputo, number 2 in dark blue for Pepperdine, just playing midfield, running back and forth, touching all sorts of balls, keeping it alive for Pepperdine.
On court 2, Lyons and Bailey jumped out to an early lead for Pepperdine, 4-0 over Kaiser and Poletto. Caputo off the block.
Pepperdine baiting Jenna Belton to go line, and she takes the bait. Skylar Caputo capitalizes. She's there for that line dig, and then flat off the block of Belton.
Left hand.
That ball, enough pace for Jenna Belton to get the kill. Little deflection away from the defender, Caputo.
1 point lead for Pepperdine on the switch. Dane Blanton coaching USC's Steady Eddies, Belton and Kremer. Last year they became the first ever Pac-12 5 pair to win the Pac-12 pair of the week.
Alexis Filippone, little finesse shot, pokey cut, drops for Pepperdine. Nice set by Caputo.
Kremer handles the first ball. What would be a crush for anybody else was a dig for Caputo.
What a shot by Jenna Belton, high line, out of the reach of Caputo.
Yes. Here, get there, get there.
You hear the conversation of Skylar Caputo. Just encouraging. Popped up. Caputo puts up a hittable ball.
The balance between Caputo and Filippone is nice. Caputo controlling, kind of keeping things in control. Filippone sticking out her paw, getting a touch, and then setting her up for the kill is Caputo.
Kremer off hands. Caputo from her knees. Kremer just sees. Great vision.
She's like a surgeon, just slicing and dicing. Really beautiful cut and hand direction by Joe Kremer on this ball. Look at all the spin driving that ball down to the sand.
Making Filippone handle the first ball. Caputo attacks. These two teams look like they're dancing right now. Beautiful.
Really good movement on both sides of the net. The talk by Caputo right here, telling her to go high line. Well-placed ball and enough pace that Joe Kremer can't run it down.
Belton passes the first ball.
I like that aggressive approach by Jenna Belton of SC. She saw a little opening between the block and the defender and attacked it.
Yes.
Joe Kremer and Jenna Belton, a veteran team. Two seniors.
That ball down the seam, angle block, line digger. She hit it down the middle. Nobody there. Starting from the serve, Alexis Filippone digging that ball forward and then splits the defender and the blocker.
2 point lead for Pep as this duel begins, the final duel of the day. Triple header to start things off on Pac-12 Network. Little turn towards the line, so perfect.
Both teams just kind of exchanging blows, nice solid side out back and forth. Who is going to differentiate their game and go for a scoring run?
Belton serving. And immediately, Kremer with the dig. Filippone on almost anybody else that would land, but Joe Kremer saw it coming. Puts it right back at him.
And that's that well-executed roll shot that just drops in front of the defenders. Nina Matthews bundled up. She needs like a ski park. I don't know how much warmth that scarf's given her.
I know, it's 59 degrees here at Merle Norman Stadium. 58, it just dropped another degree.
But it feels like 52, 49.
Well, especially when you've lived in Malibu your whole life, like Nina Matthews.
Malibu or Manhattan Beach.
Yep, either way. Belton.
Yeah, Jenna Belton down the middle. 2 real points, digging the ball and putting it away in transition. That's what I call a real point, when you score the defensive point off your serve.
Nina Matthews has announced this will be her last season coaching Pepperdine Beach Volleyball. She spent 31 seasons indoors. She did bundle it up a little bit more with the scarf this time. We asked her, what was most enjoyable throughout her career. She loved all of it, the birth of this sport, but also those early years indoor when they made NCAAs with a very thin team.
Yeah, I think when you love what you do and you're all invested and you have a special group of kids that buy in, those create great memories. Together, you're working hard towards a goal.
You grew up on the beach in that kind of a circle. What's your earliest memories of Nina? When did you remember seeing Nina for the first time?
I remember seeing her play with Linda Robertson, who's now Linda Hanley, and I don't know if she was Nina Grauwinkle or Nina Matthews at that point, but I just remember them being the team to beat everybody. And I was young, but they were definitely role models and a team I looked up to for sure.
Great pro pairing. I asked Nina about that last year at the NCAA championship, and she remembers like every point of when you beat her.
Oh, yeah, she does?
She remembers a lot.
Oh, gosh. We were similar in that nobody worked harder than us, and nobody was more competitive, and we grinded it out and did whatever it took to win, and we were very competitive, and I like that, and intense. Skylar Caputo there just can't control it.
Belton, Kremer, Caputo, and Filippone competitive, battling it out just like their programs, Pepperdine and SC.
You're watching Pac-12 Los Angeles.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. It was a beautiful day at the beach today, the third of our triple header, and USC doesn't lose often. And when they do, they've lost to Pepperdine more than anyone else, 8 times.
I feel like Pepperdine and USC were 2 of the pioneers in terms of beach volleyball programs and really set the bar high. And Pepperdine and USC have pushed one another to be the best.
USC and Pepperdine both coming into this duel with losses from earlier today, something that neither team does very often. Returning to the action on court number 1.
That ball hit out. Alexis Filippone going up to hammer that ball. Just doesn't put enough topspin snap to drive it down into the court.
Filippone, no one on. Just the movement of Belton and Kremer together. Wow.
And if you watch Filippone, Alexis Filippone, she is better when she's hitting and aggressive. As soon as she gets tentative and starts to shoot the ball around, it plays into SC's advantage.
Meanwhile, take a look at court 2, the 5 pair. SC was down. It was 4-0 with Lyons and Bailey, and Kaiser and Poletto taking the driver's seat on court number 2. In court 1, Belton and Kremer leading Caputo and Filippone. Kremer, no one on, just adds heat. Filippone trying to get around and then gives something attackable. Free ball over. Cuddy. Boy, Joe Kremer has gotten better every year.
She certainly has, and she's slicing and dicing. I think Pepperdine touched the first one, but then she gets another opportunity and makes an even sharper cut for USC.
I'm sorry, what is it that's so improved about Kremer? What makes her such a great player?
Well, in my mind, it's her footwork. She really works hard on her approach. She gets there, and then she has a really good hand. She's able to control her hand offensively around the court and put the ball where she wants to, and she reads the defense.
Belton. Turns around and gets it, Filippone. Freshman, strong movement.
I'd love to see the big girls in that situation get their feet to the ball and annihilate it. I feel like this is a great up to turn and get that shot. But Alexis Filippone at 6'2" hits this ball on the way down. Still able to get it to drop for Pepperdine.
Net violation.
I thought that was an SC violation. Alexis Filippone said it was not me. Referee said it was at the net.
Let's take a look at it and see if we can discern. Yeah.
It was Jenna Belton's hand.
You can always tell when the side switch is that quick. Let's switch.
Yeah, let's switch really quickly. Although we don't have replay, so there's really no argument on that one if they don't see it originally.
Belton and Kremer with a 1-point lead. Little pokey. Filippone makes it right.
There's a good hard approach and then a short poke shot over the block.
Let's check in on court number 2, where USC's Kaiser and Poletto has answered back big time. They are leading Lyons and Bailey by 6.
Well-placed cut shot by Katie Bailey. Katie Bailey has battled injuries while at Pepperdine, in and out of the lineup, but trying to find her way into the top 5. Here she and Nikki Lyons playing the 2 big system. Both girls could play as blockers with their size.
Just a poke over by Katie Bailey.
Katie Bailey grew up playing on the beach. She's from Ojai, California, but spent a lot of time on the beach competing as a junior.
Kaiser and Poletto looking to strike first. Long arms, long arms. Was there a net violation? Anybody hit the net there? Nothing called. What?
Wow.
Like Lyons
switch.
and Bailey side switch. It would have been anyway.
Yeah.
Because it was the SC on the net.
Yeah.
All's good. All's right in the world. And so 3-point lead for Kaiser and Poletto. Remember, they were down 0-4.
Interesting. Pepperdine has 2 coaches on this court. 1 coach per player. Delaney Knudsen, who played at Pepperdine. She's the graduate assistant / volunteer coach. And Marcio Sicoli guiding this pair.
And Knudsen was coached by Marcio Sicoli as well. When she was a player here, he was an assistant, you mentioned, for 7 years. He has been. He will take over the head coaching duties when Nina Matthews steps aside.
Both teams going for runs of points. Maya Kaiser hit that ball wide. Pepperdine making a little run.
There's a look at Knudsen and Sicoli. To the corner, well placed by Pep's Katie Bailey.
Katie Bailey just gobbling everything up, and when she gets a good dig and a good set, she knows what to do with it, finding the open court for Pepperdine.
Kind of that early success for Lyons and Bailey, and then they cooled off. Are they able to tie it up here? No, and it is set point for SC's Kaiser and Poletto.
I feel like when you're playing 4 bigs, 4 players who like to hit the ball, shooting the ball and making them run and move is the secret. That ball served long, and Nikki Lyons gonna get a chance from the back line.
It takes guts or a really good eye to let that go on set point. Remains set point SC. Off the net. USC comes back from down 4-0 to take set number 1.
Momentum was on the side of Pepperdine, so good break for SC to finish with a dribbler.
It's a first set win for Kaiser and Poletto today. We return to court number 1 with the 4 pairs. Belton and Kremer leading Caputo and Filippone. Filippone pass. Right off the block.
I feel like Jenna Belton is just like 3 to 4 inches off the ball, and I feel like if she lines up her ball or her block more on the ball, she'll be more effective and limit Alexis Filippone's offensive options.
Belton right through the arms of Filippone.
Alexis Filippone just a little late on her push over the net with her hands to block the ball. Jenna Belton takes advantage.
Joe Kremer serving, trying to get this SC team at set point. Filippone turns it away.
Did you see Jenna Belton on the right side of the court going with her left hand? I would have loved to see her bring that ball back with her right hand. Right hand, she went the other way, which is an almost impossible angle.
Of course, Jenna Belton is a lefty. I think you got to get to these kids when they're like 8, right? I mean, teach them early. Both hands. Pepperdine ties it back up at 19 apiece.
Skylar Caputo finding the opening. She's got so much experience, and as a defender, she's good at transitioning the ball and finding the opening in the defense.
Timeout, Caputo, Filippone, Belton, Kremer. 19 apiece. USC and Pepperdine. Final matchup of our Pac-12 triple header, and these are two of the most storied programs in the country. When you take a look at the beach volleyball titles, there's the AVCA and then the NCAA, dominated by these two programs.
Yeah, Pepperdine and USC matched up in the NCAA title last year, coming down to a third set 3-2 battle. But you see Pepperdine kicking things off in 2012, again in 2014, and then USC 2015, 16, and 17.
Pepperdine has beat USC 8 times total. Anna Collier and Nina Matthews squaring off at Merle Norman Stadium for the last time. They may square off in Gulf Shores. They are going to square off in Zuma Beach, but this is the last time here.
Interesting.
It's going to be a lot of last times this year for Nina Matthews. I asked her before the match, is this a big farewell tour for you all the way around? She's like, I remember it. I'm coming here one more time. You know, it's just legendary coaches who grew this game, both of them pushing for the game of collegiate beach volleyball. SC, set point. Filippone, the freshman. It's wide. And USC takes set number 1. So USC's 4 and 5 pairs each take set number 1 against Pep. More action when we come back.
Can I just stop?
Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Pac12.
2 courts of action in the first flight between Pepperdine and SC, two of the most storied programs in collegiate beach volleyball. Amory Anderson alongside Holly McPeak, and Holly, SC struck first on both courts. What kind of pressure does that put on Pep?
Well, I think it puts a lot of pressure on them. You want to start at least with 1 victory. And for Pepperdine at the 4 spot, they have a lot of confidence. Both these teams have been winning for each of their programs, so there's a lot of pressure at that point. If you're not getting that automatic win where you expect it, it changes things.
Yeah, let's focus in on court number 1 and the 4 pairs for a moment, because Caputo and Filippone, with a true freshman on there, you mentioned they won their match against UCLA. For Belton and Kremer, Coach Anna Collier calls them the Steady Eddies. They are one of the most successful programs in USC history, behind Clays and Hughes, really, along with Wheeler and Martin last year, who were very successful. They won their match against UCLA as well.
Well, it's really important that for your USC, you're going after the young freshmen. And I feel like they had a lot of success. Alexis Filippone made more error than errors than she usually does, and it was because of the consistent defensive pressure by the Trojans. Net violation by Filippone at the net.
Part of it too, Holly, I mean, you spent your whole life playing in tournaments. SC playing back-to-back, and while in other sports that can be a disadvantage, in beach volleyball, especially on a cold day, they stayed warm. Pepperdine played, then sat for a couple hours and played again.
And in this kind of what we call cold weather, I think it's harder to sit and then try and get warmed up again. Easier to just play back-to-back matches and stay warm.
For SC versus UCLA, none of the matches went to a third set. That also conserved a little bit of energy inadvertently, mind you. Belton, straight down the middle.
Jo Kremer just cleaned up that play. A little bit of an errant pass, and she put up a great hittable set. Jenna Belton down the middle. That's what you want in a partner, somebody who makes your small errors better. Always bettering the ball. That is the goal when you play beach volleyball. Always better the ball, better the pass, better the set, and obviously better the kill.
Kremer cracked a smile with Dane Blanton as she came across, and you kind of suspected it might have been about the great move she made there. Filippone and Belton waiting for her.
Alexis Filippone needs to use her long frame. It's 6'2". She needs to get up and make high contact and be aggressive. She can go over the block. She just doesn't know it yet.
It'd be interesting to see if Belton and Kremer keep climbing up in terms of pairings, because it's about how you square off in practice, right? There's kind of an honor system there, and then it's how you do here. And if they keep winning and winning, there may have to be some shuffling there.
Yeah, I agree. I think they started at 5s and they've moved up to 4s. And if they're this consistent and this effective, they can definitely make a move.
Beautiful cut by Kremer.
And Jenna Belton, that's a new tool in her game, the hand set in transition, and then look at the cut shot. Perfect hand over the top and side of the ball by Jo Kremer.
USC in control on both courts as the 4s and 5s are squaring off. SC won the first set on both courts, and they are leading in the second set on both courts. Belton again closing the door. Belton steps in. Kremer, just a perfect set. Poletto. Sorry, I called her Poletto. Filippone.
What a dig by Filippone. USC called in the net saying Jo Kremer hit the net with her back on that play. Look at that shot. Oh, when she turned. That's a break for Pepperdine.
So Pepperdine within 1. Now's the chance for Belton to clean it up for Kremer on an errant pass. Kremer chasing it down, unable to get there.
Pepperdine pushing for points off their serve.
Taking a look at the score on the other court, Kaiser and Poletto up 5 in the second set.
Well, it's interesting. Poletto doing work at the net, blocking the bigs from Pepperdine.
Kremer again working that shortcut.
Jo Kremer's so disciplined with her approach. She can bring the heat, and that really holds the defender. And then she slices and dices, moving the ball all around the court with her hand.
And when you talk about her being disciplined with her approach, what do you mean exactly?
That she gets to a spot, waits, and then goes hard every time. She doesn't give it away that she's going to shoot. She comes in hard every time.
That serve a little bit long. Tied up at 7 apiece on the side switch.
Pepperdine doing a better job going back and forth.
So tied up at 7 apiece. Caputo and Filippone with an opportunity to make a move. The wind seems to have died down. The sun has gone down. Is there a good side, bad side now?
slight wind in our face. So in the wind of the Pepperdine team. Slight wind, but it seems to be dying. Just getting colder.
Which benefits no one. Checking the service rotation.
Except for those at home sitting on their couch in front of a fireplace.
Still more fun to be here.
That's true. Much better in person.
Jenna Belton serving. Makes Filippone handle the first ball. Skylar Caputo with some heat. Oh, come on, Joe Kremer. That is nasty.
Unbelievable. What a scramble play. Just the veteran. Scramble by Belton to keep it alive, and then just the fast hand cut shot by Kremer.
That's the one you lose friendships over if you're playing with your friends on the beach. That was gorgeous.
Alexis Filippone dropping her arm, making low contact. She needs to get her elbow up, make high contact, and use her size at the net.
Filippone, the tallest player on the sand in court number 1. Belton right behind her.
That could be Joe Kremer's signature move this year, that roll shot in transition. We've seen it all. We've seen deep line shots. We've seen pretty much everything, but Filippone drops for the deep one, and drops it short middle.
So, Holly, as you see that Filippone coming back, what's the key to getting the short shot when you've already started back?
Well, if there's a player who's done that to you several times, I think the retreating blocker, focus on the deep one, and the player who's stopped and reading that play gets that short ball.
I know you say that in part because you were always the defender and you could always get there, but I'm thinking for the rest of the world, that's kind of hard, but they need to be able to do that. That's what makes a great defender, right?
Great hustle by Filippone to keep it alive. Good defensive touch by Caputo.
Kremer with the hands.
And then Belton high off Filippone's hands for the SC kill. USC building a little bit of distance.
We have been watching Kremer and Belton for years, and they have gotten more impressive each season, but boy, this year they look fierce. Trying to turn it down the line, no good. We're going to step away as the action in the final duel still in the first flight of games.
You're watching
Checks. Be good at life, New York life.
Opening day of beach volleyball on Pac-12 Networks, a triple header to start it off, and we are ending the day with this matchup, Pepperdine and SC, two of the most storied programs in collegiate beach volleyball. This is the first flight of action. SC struck first, winning the first set on both courts. We're going to go back to court number 2 now for the 5 pairs, Holly, where Kaiser and Poletto with a 4-point lead in set 2.
This is what I call a battle of the bigs, and right now USC doing a better job. Won the first set, up 16-12 in the second set. Lots of big players who like to hit the ball.
As Nina Matthews or both teams really are trying to figure out their 5s. Nina Matthews made a change for this set, putting Katie Bailey in the lineup with Lyons.
Well, in terms of matching up, like I said, a bunch of bigs playing one another, no true defender, and then ball control isn't usually as strong. I'm not saying all big players lack ball control, but I'm just saying usually it's more of a power game, less finesse.
And somebody who's big who can be crafty as well really has an advantage in this type of matchup.
For sure, because they bring power and finesse. And they can run down balls and play really good defense.
I understand when you were saying that you're not trying to insult any of your former bigs that you played with.
No, I had played with a lot of great bigs who had fantastic ball control.
Well, these teams getting an opportunity to fine-tune their ball control as Kaiser and Poletto with a 5-point lead. How about that for finesse?
Good power. I like that by Alexis Filippone. When she gets her feet to the ball, makes high contact, puts a little heat behind it. Whoa, look at the cut shot there. so distracting. There's a lot of good volleyball games going on 3 different courts in front of me.
Kaiser with a great cut, and now trying to cut it back.
They were trying to prove me wrong.
Exactly. They're just listening, that's all. Chased down.
Great dig by Kaiser.
Coming back the other way, little pokey. And when the set isn't there, it's jumped on by Nikki Lyons.
Nikki Lyons patrolling the net. Look at this. That's the Kaiser rundown. Keeps it alive, and then on the other side, Nikki Lyons gets the easy pokey for the kill.
Kaiser and Poletto closing in on getting the first point of this duel for SC. And a cutty the other way as Lyons, not yet.
You see the potential of Poletto at the net for USC. She's reaching over. She's doing some good things naturally. When she really learns the game, she is going to have an effect at the net on people on the other side. 4 blocks already.
You know, Poletto, a big influence. And, of course, as you look at SC there, trying to find her breath is Alex Poletto. Of course, this USC team filled with new players, but they know the history. Last season in Gulf Shores, Alabama, SC back-to-back NCAA championships on the backs of Clays and Hughes.
Kelly Clays, Sarah Hughes were so solid, and Nicolette Martin and Therese Cannon were the 2 who sealed the deal on court 3 for USC.
Anna Collier.
Keep an eye.
Whoa! Thrown into the water by Sarah Hughes.
She was so happy she didn't even mind. Classic moment.
And so, you know, it's replayed with the blessing of Anna Collier. She thought it was hilarious.
We all laughed about it all night long.
And Anna Collier was
Over
leading
and
the
over
charge.
again, yeah.
Exactly. Look, she was ecstatic. Back-to-back NCAA championships for USC. But this year, a lot of work to do. Lots of changes. They already suffered a loss to UCLA earlier today. And a turn by Lyons as Pepperdine's fighting.
Yeah, good dig and transition kill. Pepperdine trying to climb back in.
Lyons and Bailey, 2 juniors for Pepperdine. Just high to the corner, and USC is going to do the side switch. USC is at set point.
Well, on the court they have 19-16 USC up, and they're switching now, so not sure if we have the incorrect score or it's the scoreboard. Either way, USC with a nice advantage and up 1-0.
As the first flight of action between these 2 teams coming up next will be the 1, 2, and 3 pairs squaring off as they check the scores and the service rotation here. The timeout on court number 1, USC leading 16-3 on court 1, Belton and Kremer.
I looked up there for the switch, and he was one behind. It should be 2016.
And so as we're listening to the official, he's checking the score, saying it's 2016.
So our TV crew, thank you very much, on it with the correct score. Bert missed that side change.
Yeah, but Bert Fuller caught it and then
he caught it, corrected.
Yep.
It pointed out exactly what happens. He did the right thing.
And so for the match, SC serving. And a put away by SC as Kaiser and Poletto take the match over Pepperdine's Bailey and Lyons. First point of the duel on the board.
USC 1-0. Looking good on court 1 as well.
And so with the USC putting the first point on the board, Kaiser and Poletto, their first win of the day. We'll return to the action on court number 1 as Caputo Filippone try to force this to a third set. They came up just a little short in set number 1. Belton and Kremer with a slight lead in set 2. Belton, dug by Caputo. Caputo can make something of that. Kremer takes a good glance at the court. Shut down by Filippone.
Alexis Filippone using her long reach, getting a nice block on Jo Kremer. Watch her get up and reach over the net to cut off that hit by Jo Kremer. Big point for Pepperdine. Tying it up at 16 apiece.
And this is where the team aspect really comes in. You know, Caputo and Filippone now have some Pepperdine players watching. Maybe they glance at the scoreboard over there and they can see that it was a 21-16 finish on the other court. They know that they have the responsibility to try to tie it up and set things up for their 1-2s and 3s.
How about Alexis Filippone? Good court vision, smart shot, making high contact, clearing the block, not challenging Jo Kremer.
So timeout for SC as they are now trailing Pepperdine. Dane Blanton, Olympic gold medalist, volunteer assistant coach for SC, talking with the Steady Eddies. Of course, we showed you the 2017 title, the 2016 title for SC. Well, of course, they were also led by Clays and Hughes in Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes in Gulf Shores, Alabama against Florida State sealed the championship for the USC Trojans in the first NCAA tournament.
There's Dane Blanton, all smiles. And again, they took a dip into the ocean, as is the tradition. They did not drag Anna Collier in.
There she is.
Anna Collier with this program. I mean, again, she's got a bigger task this year, right? I mean, the first 2 NCAA championships, she had an incredibly gifted team at ones who was pretty much untouchable.
Well, anytime you lose 5 seniors in the leadership that they brought, I mean, that was a special group of seniors. It wasn't just Kelly Clays and Sarah Hughes. It was Allie Wheeler and Nicolette Martin, Sophie Bukovic, players that were all in and really brought the level up. It put pressure on everybody to be held accountable for hard work and really dedicating themselves to the NCAA title.
Right, and well, Sarah Hughes, she said, was one of the best captains or leaders any institution could have ever had. Whether you're talking business, talking volleyball, she said you're never going to have Sarah's leadership style again, so no matter what, it's going to be different.
And, you know, I feel a little bit like she's starting over. She has a talented group of freshmen, but you start over. You know, sometimes it's a rebuilding season. I feel like even though they have one of the most talented teams in the country, it's a little bit of a rebuilding season. Yes, they could probably still win again, but they're not the heavy favorites like they have been the last 3 years.
Side switch, Caputo and Filippone with a 1-point lead, wanting to push this to a third set. They know they have the opportunity to push it to a third, win a third, and tie the duel back up at ones.
Skylar Caputo keeping her partner focused on making good decisions.
Skylar Caputo, the junior, Filippone, a freshman. They have been seeing and serving Filippone all day here at Merle Norman. Kremer. And then crafty Kremer comes back.
Alexis Filippone, I like the aggressive swing, but she needs to turn it away from Jo Kremer. Jo Kremer is going to dig it and then slice and dice for a point.
Caputo, she's crafty too.
Kremer and Belton had a good read on that, but neither could stop it.
Caputo and Filippone, slim margin.
Good kill down the middle by Jenna Belton. Open net, she knows where to put it.
Yeah, it's a wide open net there.
Well, that's a good question. I felt like Alexis Filippone saw the set, thought it was too inside for Jenna Belton to get a good attack, and dropped off the net to help Skylar Caputo out.
But Belton's a lefty, too. It was on that left side. I know
agree.
I'm preaching to the choir there. Nice shot by Filippone there.
Good decision. She established the power in the cross court and then goes over the line block with the short poke.
It is set point. Caputo and Filippone. If Pepperdine wins this set, they can force it to a third set. Belton over. Extra points.
Steady Eddie's pull through for USC. Nice side out with a high line shot. Jenna Belton gets their elbow high, clears the big block of Filippone.
Here comes Filippone to the back line.
Good aggressive swing. Pepperdine staying aggressive. Now Skylar Caputo on the back line.
And Holly, Filippone has done all the jumping, all the passing, all day. This is for the set.
You heard Joe Kremer yell, angle high, and she did, getting a piece of the block on its way out of bounds. Yeah, you know, Alexis Filippone and the whole Pepperdine team, you should see how they condition. Their practices are 3 hours long. They condition like, well, SC conditions a lot too, but I'm not worried about them getting too tired in this match.
I like that. Well, and you
Skylar Caputo will never get tired.
Yeah.
She'll run a marathon and then go for a paddle to Catalina and back.
Okay.
So,
team energy.
yes.
On the back line, SC now at match point.
That is a timely service ace by Jenna Belton. Aggressive when it counts.
The pressure just came right down on Pepperdine's shoulders. Two players colliding. Caputo still composes herself for a great set.
Wow. The only reason that was called is because it hit tape on the way and it was slowed down. Again,
Called a lift for people that wonder. It's tied up 22.
you're only allowed to dig it overhand with a grab like that if the ball is hard driven.
And a service error puts it again at match point. SC. Filippone calling for it in the middle. Blocker coming off. Ripped by Filippone.
Filippone comes really straight in on her approach from the left side, which in my mind really limits her angle swing options.
Caputo makes Kremer handle the first ball. Filippone stays. What a dig by Skylar Caputo. Caputo.
Huge dig and transition swing by number 2, Skylar Caputo. Wow. She reads this play, that ball set wide. She's there to pick it up. Aggressive swing to go up a point.
Caputo digs. Belton up, no one on, and Skylar Caputo willed Pepperdine to a third set. Skylar Caputo is not to be messed with. She brought power when it counted. Third set on court number 1.
You put in.
Welcome back. Opening day of beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network. This is the final match, final duel of the day. Pepperdine and USC. USC leading 1-0, but Pepperdine, Skylar Caputo, and Filippone just pulled it out in the second set, and we are going to a third set on court number 1.
Skylar Caputo made some big digs too at the end of that set with 2 transition kills to seal it. She brings leadership to this team. Her freshman partner needs that, especially in a situation like this against 2 experienced players.
So the third set is shorter. It's only to 15 points. Still win by 2. Might have gotten saved by Belton there as that one was out. Now here comes Caputo. To the back corner. Kremer hammers, Caputo digs. To the back line, just out.
1 centimeter long. Skylar Caputo asked the referee to get down and check the ball mark. And the sand doesn't lie, it was so close.
And the timeout stands. Kremer now back to serve.
Take a look at it again. Whew. Just out, but the line did not move anywhere along the way. No doubt about that one from Filippone.
Alexis Filippone reaching a little bit better, higher contact and some heat behind that ball.
Belton over her head, comes off the tape. What a nice placement by Filippone.
Filippone's used that shot, that short poke shot over the block several times, working in her favor. But it starts with the service pressure, 2 in a row. Getting a little tweak in the play for Jenna Belton, so she's not in a perfect location to side out.
To the back corner, or to the middle back it goes.
Skylar Caputo was on the move, trying to run down that line shot, and this ball was hit kind of middle. Maybe Filippone's making a late move into the angle, or Skylar Caputo just red line.
Belton down the line again. Filippone receiving serve. No one there. She can rip.
That's the arm I'm talking about. That should happen every time. That's a lot tougher to stop. Consistently get your arm up and go get that ball. And for Jenna Belton, she needs to get stopped, get her platform out, and make a move to dig that ball.
The Caputo-Filippone partnership, new this year, obviously, with Filippone being a freshman. Pretty good-looking partnership. They got the win over UCLA. And how about that dig on 2?
When you look at a fours pair and you see someone like Skylar Caputo, she got a 3rd place in an AVP event, a professional event with all the best players. She is an experienced player who can play at a high level. And you have players playing at 3s and 4s and 5s who have played in pro events. So it's just saying a lot about the depth across the country and from 1 to 5 in these types of programs.
It's also saying a lot about the future of the pro game and the future of the Olympic representation here in the United States. I mean, the competition starts awfully young. You see them in high school.
It's amazing, and the level of play I think is going to be just improving for our country, especially. You see countries like Brazil, they start playing professionally at age 18, but now with the collegiate game, look at that serve by Jo Kremer. Lots of pressure on the short serve, but then the short poke over the line finds the opening.
And you're saying with the collegiate game, and the collegiate game here offers something that I don't see in any other sport, which is you have all these Olympians coaching. I mean, Dane Blanton is an Olympic gold medalist volunteering. Jeff Alzina for UCLA has coached internationally and coached
an Olympic coach
pros
as well.
And Olympians. I mean, the level of coaching you can get at this sport is just incredible. I mean, you coach the juniors coming up. You just ever take out your Olympic medal, throw it on the sand, and let's run. You don't get that in other sports, not as consistently as you do in volleyball.
Well, if you go down the list, there's a lot of high-level pros across the country coaching and giving back to the game. You talk about, well, Steinmetzger and Jenny Johnson-Jordan at UCLA, Dane Blanton here at USC. You go Nina Matthews, obviously, at Pepperdine. Brooke Niles, or Brooke, I guess she's Brooke Lucena now.
Right, yeah,
At
exactly.
Florida State. Gail Stammer is at Corpus Christi in Texas.
Todd Rogers
at Cal
professor.
Poly San Luis Obispo. I can keep going on and on. Brad Keenan at Arizona State. So there's lots of great coaches giving back, and I think it's going to be a lot of opportunities for players to give back by helping grow the sport. And I really enjoy coaching at the junior level and preparing these kids to play at this level.
Along with Eric Fenoy-Moana, Dane Blanton's Olympic gold medalist partner, Barb Fontana. I mean, again, Nicole Branna.
Nicole Branna, and we have current pros coaching for us as well, and they're enjoying giving these young kids opportunities to learn at a high level at a young age.
Oh, you can only pull it out of your pocket once in a while. Kremer is furious.
Yeah, it doesn't drop on Joe Kremer ever. If it drops once, it's not dropping again. But smart shot, well executed by Skylar Caputo.
A smile from Skylar Caputo. Kremer was furious. Handful of sand after that. Caputo and Filippone, 2-point lead in set number 3. Down the line.
What a cover play to keep it alive. Alexis Filippone doing a better job getting her hands over the net fast, but Jenna Belton puts enough pace on that ball that Alexis Filippone cannot stop and control it.
And Caputo is never going to say die. Chases it all the way to the end. Caputo pass. She doesn't get many serves, and that's why.
Comes in, hard approach, very disciplined, deep middle swing by number 2, Skylar Caputo.
Caputo back to serve, 2-point lead. What a pretty set from Jenna Belton.
I like that shot right there. Joe Kremer gets to the ball, high hand contact, clearing the big block, finding open sand down the line.
Side switch, and this looks like a little bit of a chess match. Holly, if you can, where are the weaknesses or the best points to attack either of these teams?
Well, for USC, they've been scoring points off Alexis Filippone. I think they're trying to wear her down. And then Pepperdine, when they went on that little scoring run, they were getting little tweaks in the pass on Jenna Belton. And that was opening up point scoring opportunities for Skylar Caputo to dig the ball and put them away.
Caputo and Kremer have been very, very tough to stop offensively. Here's Caputo. Like that.
The interesting thing on serve receive, Jenna Belton's getting pushed out really wide because of where she's passing the ball, and she's losing her line over option. That makes defense easy for Skylar Caputo.
Going to the high line.
There, that ball was set a little bit more inside and allowed Jenna Belton to have more room to operate that overline shot.
Belton serving, Filippone. Nice set up there, right over Belton.
USC needs to make an adjustment. We've seen probably 4 to 5 of those drop from Alexis Filippone. They either need to pull out of the block and have Jenna Belton turn and get that, or Joe Kremer has to commit to it.
And then we'll see how good Filippone's vision is, right?
Exactly. Right now, Pepperdine with the advantage. USC switching to the side with a slight wind in their face. Not a really big wind advantage right now.
Long day of action. Pac-12 Network bringing you a triple header to start off our coverage. 34 duels delivered to you on Pac-12 Networks this year with some of the best talent in the country. USC, UCLA, and Pepperdine, 3 top teams in the country squaring off today.
Joe Kremer mad at herself. She saw the opportunity, missed opportunity. She finally picked up that short line shot. She wants to chip this one short middle and just misses that contact with her hand.
Filippone serving. They go at Kremer. Now Kremer coming back. Set was tough.
Wow, that set was tight. Filippone at 6'2" was all over it, but Joe Kremer finds a way to get that ball down the line.
First point of this duel delivered by USC's 5 pairs, Kaiser and Poletto. Pepperdine, Caputo, and Filippone trying to even it back up, and they have had to battle to do so. They're 2 points away.
Skylar Caputo having a bigger effect on this game, especially the third set, and that's a good thing for Pepperdine. She brings so much experience.
Caputo serving. Kremer handling the first ball. Slowed by the block. That's a good move by Filippone, hustling. Caputo's tomahawk.
Little over anxious for the over on one tomahawk kill. Pretty good idea, just not executed well enough, and I think it just, in the middle of it, she might have changed her mind. Still up 13-11. This ball comes right. It's Skylar Caputo. Frustrated with herself.
Pressure on SC. This is the steady eddies though, Belton and Kremer. Filippone had line, took it.
Wow, when Alexis Filippone gets a hold of it and her arms up, tough to dig. Good aggressive swing by her.
It looked like Belton and Kremer were going to win this match in 2 sets until Skylar Caputo willed them to a second set win. And now they are in the position of taking the match point and evening up this duel.
Good first touch by Filippone at the net. If she can just turn and give a little touch on that second, Caputo can do something else with that.
Skylar Caputo checking with Nina Matthews, wanting to slow it down for a moment with a timeout.
Sit them down, ice them a little bit. All Caputo and Filippone need is a side out.
You know, and that's one of the things that's different in the sport. I mean, when do you ever see an indoor player turn to the coach and say, hey, I want to call a timeout? And Nina's like, yeah, go ahead. And this is just the opening day of Pac-12 volleyball. There's 34 matches in total. Next time you can catch Pac-12 volleyball on the air, beach volleyball that is March 10th. Boise State versus number 16 Stanford, and then Arizona State versus Stanford. It's a doubleheader from Palo Alto.
And Stanford had a couple good pair wins at the 1 and 4 spot in Hawaii last weekend. So Stanford making some progress building their program.
The 1 spot? You mean the Catherine Plummer spot?
Yeah, that one.
The Pac-12 Beach Volleyball Championships will be held at Stanford at the end of April. All the best teams, all the teams will convene there, and it's a really fun tournament.
Catherine Plummer and Sunny Villapando, a true freshman, playing at the 1 pair for Stanford with 2 good wins over UCLA and Hawaii last weekend.
This is match point for Pepperdine. Filippone, no one on. Caputo lays out. And here comes crafty Kremer. Pepperdine fights back. They look like they were left for dead in set number 2. Caputo willed them back. Filippone added power.
Impressive power at the end by Filippone and the finish. 1-1 all tied up here.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
Welcome back. Tied up 1-1 on Pac-12 Network. Third duel of the day. Pepperdine and USC, 2 legendary programs. Welcome, everybody. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside three-time Olympian Holly McPeak. Triple header to start things off on Pac-12 Network today, and we have had quite a day of action.
We certainly have lots. Well, I guess a surprise. We saw USC loss, but right now, some tight action between rivals, Pepperdine and USC, all tied up at 1-1. We're seeing lots of new faces and players, veterans, really competing under a lot of pressure with a young partner.
Yeah, certainly so. And before we look back at these highlights, let's talk about the four pairs, because Caputo and Filippone of Pepperdine, a junior and freshman pair, really fought back.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. The leadership by Skylar Caputo in that particular match against two seniors to come out with a victory and push it to 3. They had a chance where they were going to lose it in 2 and really pushed hard, starting with some big digs at the end of the second set and kills in transition by Skylar Caputo, leading her young partner and her pair to a second set victory, and some missed opportunities by USC. Joe Kremer obviously frustrated.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, but Caputo, I mean, as you mentioned, they lost set number 1. Caputo had some big putaways in set number 2 right at the very end, and then once she set up Filippone, we got a chance to experience the freshman's arm.
Yeah, Alexis Filippone, at 6'2", she's got a lot of offensive range, but she doesn't get to the ball to hit it every time, and I think Nina and Skylar were riding her. Get your feet to the ball and power it. You don't need to get in the finesse shot, and then that little short poke shot over the line was working for her.
Yeah, and that tied things up, so you can really appreciate the pressure that was on them, because earlier in the 5 pairs, which only went 2 sets, it was USC's pair that really dominated that matchup.
It was interesting because Nina and Anna put 4 bigs basically on the court, 4 players who could play the net and block, and it became a power game at the net. Alexandra Poletto, the grad student out of Colorado State, did a number at the net with 4 blocks, and then Maya Kaiser was running around digging some balls and did a solid job defensively for USC.
And so as we look ahead, what a day of action between these two. You look back, 1-3 set. But coming up next, we'll see the 1, 2, and 3 pairs come up. Pepperdine switched their 1s and 2s, so Quiggle and Kraft will be at 1, and that puts Rowe and Bauer now at 1 for Pepperdine.
And that's a true freshman, Brooke Bauer, at 1 with Maddie Rowe. So that's going to be an interesting matchup against Abril Bustamante and Therese Cannon, and then Corinne Quiggle and Deanna Kraft at the 2s.
Yeah, and I mean, let me tell you how much this means. UCLA played each of these programs earlier. UCLA went home with a 2-0 day today. So both Pepperdine and USC looking to salvage their day with a win over their rivals.
And we knew it was going to be some new results, some new challenges. UCLA knew they were deep. USC has some questions. And Pepperdine looking for depth, looking for wins at the 5 pairs.
Well, USC doesn't lose often. They lost earlier today for the first time since 2016. Pepperdine is the program in the country that has had the most success against them.
It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to this next stretch. Going in all tied up, it's going to go down to the wire.
All right, well, when we come back, the 1, 2, and 3 pairs will square off. Final flight of action on Pac-12 Networks coming up.
The view's better from here.
Pac-12 Beach Volleyball is brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. Well, the sun was out, but now the sun has set. It's the first ever televised night matches from Merle Norman Stadium. Pepperdine and USC is squaring off. It's the final flight of action on a full day as a triple header. And we will end with Pepperdine and USC tied up at 1 apiece after the first flight.
And it's going to come down to the top 3 pairs. Pair 1, Abril Bustamante and Therese Cannon facing off against Maddie Rowe and freshman Brooke Bauer.
Temperature has dropped here in Los Angeles, 56 degrees. We mentioned that because both these teams have been sitting now in cold weather. It's unusual. Beach volleyball players aren't used to it. And for Pepperdine, these 1, 2, and 3s have been hours last time they played.
And in Southern California, we're not used to it getting this cold. So definitely it might be a slow start trying to get their bodies warmed up, but once they run around, they'll get warmed up.
As you take a look at Joy Dennis and Brianna Sizemore, that pairing together, so you're plenty warm in the stands. Dennis and Sizemore at the twos for USC. Kind of what appeals to you?
Well, I like Deanna Kraft and Karen Quiggle. Kraft at the net, big block. Karen Quiggle's just a gamer, great defensive player, moves the ball around the court. Dennis and Sizemore can be really good and really physical, but they also give up runs of points.
And so let's talk about court three for a moment. Dyer, Hernandez, Hallgren, and Slater.
Let's talk about Heidi Dyer and Gigi Hernandez. They have come up big at the three pairs for Pepperdine, and they're playing the very talented freshman team of Haley Hallgren and Sammy Slater. So that's going to be one of the most interesting matchups on court three.
Both of those on court three won their earlier matches against UCLA. But we're going to start our attention on court number one with the top pairs. You mentioned Bustamante and Cannon. They won earlier today, only one set. But now Rowe and Bauer are going to be in the one pairs for Pepperdine, as changed by Nina Matthews.
How about that cut shot by Maddie Rowe? Gets up, elevates against the big block, short cut shot diagonally along the net.
And Bustamante and Cannon, when I mentioned them, I meant they were the Pac-12 pair of the week. To start things off, they suffered their first loss against the McNamara's earlier today at UCLA.
Maddie Rowe retreated off the net as the blocker. When you do that, you have to become a defender. You got to get stopped and react.
Brooke Bauer, number 3 for Pepperdine, the true freshman, getting her first taste of court number 1 today.
Starts with a good pass, well executed over line shot, beating the big block of Therese Cannon.
Rowe changing balls. Cannon's pass is errant, making the most of it is Bustamante.
Wow. Abril Bustamante scooted under that ball, lifted enough to give her partner a chance to kill it down the line.
Up and crushed. But Bustamante just looking so solid for SC.
Good transition, aggressive swing by Maddie Rowe. In transition, Abril Bustamante using finesse instead of power to transition that last ball. I think you want to establish your power first and get the other team on their heels before you bring the finesse.
Bustamante up again, goes right down the line. Perfect spot.
Well-placed deep line shot away from the defender.
Therese Cannon, a 6'3" senior out of Pittsburgh, broke through into the starting lineup, if you will, the top 10 players for USC last year at the threes position. Ripped the other way by Brooke Bauer.
Just a freshman, Brooke Bauer, very confident. And the defense was there, the angle block, the defense was in the line, and she still beats the defender.
A beautiful evening here in LA, a great facility at Merle Norman Stadium. 3 courts of action under the lights. Nice set from Bustamante. Cannon eats it up.
Therese Cannon has not been seeing too many serves, but so far Pepperdine testing her in this early match.
Bustamante back to serve. It's a little bit long. Other action going on the other courts. On court 2, Kraft and Quiggle, the former number 1s for Pepperdine, out to a hot start. 6-2 over Dennis and Sizemore. And on court number 3, well, now it has moved into tied up after that one, 4-4.
Abril Bustamante, the defender for this USC 1s pairs, had double hernia surgery in December and was just cleared to play February 6th. So she's working her way back into volleyball shape, but feels great. She battled sports hernias her entire career since high school and has always played in pain, could just never get fully healthy. So she's excited to have a season where she feels healthy and strong.
Bustamante receiving this one. And just diving into that corner. That cross is Maddie Rowe.
That ball almost stuck to Therese Cannon's hands. Hard to read that one. She comes in, jumps hard, and then just kind of a funny contact off her hand, but it works for USC.
Rowe saw where Bustamante was and went the other way.
Well-placed ball by Maddie Rowe. She saw Abril Bustamante standing in the angle and then the high line shot. Maddie Rowe telling her partner, let's score now.
And so how do you combat against that? If you're Bustamante, did she move too early in your opinion? Or
no, you want to give Maddie Rowe all sorts of different looks. You can move early, you can move late, you can just play with her, give her different looks so she doesn't know what you're going to do.
Bustamante set, Cannon.
The most common defense in beach volleyball is a line block angle dig. If you do that every time, a team knows what to do against you. So you have to give it, especially at a higher level, you have to give them different looks and make them think about what they're going to do against your defense.
Tied up 7-7 on court one, the top pairs in this duel that is tied 1-1. Little ball.
Abril Bustamante there, just can't control it. Maddie Rowe kind of likes to hang and look. She jumps really well and then shoot the ball. So you have to kind of wait her out and be patient.
Off the block. Oh, just perfection by Maddie Rowe.
Wow, good touch at the net defensively, and Brooke Bauer runs it down. Good read off the contact, able to get under and lift. That's the key to setting up a play like that.
Abril Bustamante over the block into the back line.
So if you show that too early as a blocker that you are going to take Abril Bustamante's angle, she is going to shoot over your angle and be successful almost every time. You can double up your call defensively and have the defensive player run to the angle as well. There's different things you can do, but a good experienced player will see that early defensive move.
Trading blows back and forth, 9-9, the one pairs for Pepperdine and USC. Door closed by Cannon, but Rowe, wow.
There you see the elevation and the fast arm from Maddie Rowe. What a set by Brooke Bauer. Good cover play by Maddie Rowe, and then she rewards Maddie with a perfect set.
Bustamante puts it down.
That ball dropping in front of Bauer. Bauer couldn't get her feet under her to push off and get that short ball.
Therese Cannon sends that one long. And so they will trade blows on court number one. Final duel of the day, tied up at 1 apiece.
5 checks. Be good at life, New York life.
Look at some of the fans that are here for USC, the men's volleyball team. I can't tell if they were doing bunny ears or fight on. Sam Lewis, John Luca Grasso, Chris Hall, Cole Paxson, Connor Inlow, Billy Fauntleroy, and Clay Dickinson and friends.
Well, that blonde young lady used to play for the USC beach volleyball team. Her name's Avery Hazelrig out of Hermosa Beach. Had to give her a shout out too.
I love it. They are all sitting here. Sam Lewis having a great time. That's the men's volleyball team here to support the number 1 USC Trojans women's team, who suffered their first loss of the season against UCLA. We're going to return to the action on court number 1. This duel tied up at 1 apiece. Put away.
I like the way Brooke Bauer reads the game. She's at 6'1". She's a big defender, but she reads the game well and is moving well. There's been a really huge emergence out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the whole Florida area of some top recruits. There's 2 really talented players that are committed to UCLA that I saw last summer that I was really impressed with, along with Brooke Bauer, who's obviously now at Pepperdine. So it's fun to see an emergence of really high-level players. Obviously, somebody is coaching these kids and getting them involved in the sport and teaching them from an early age.
Well, as you talk about Florida volleyball, we can talk a little bit nationally in a moment. Let's take a look at the other scores first before we talk big picture. Bauer and Rowe leading Bustamante and Cannon by 2. Kraft and Quiggle controlling Dennis and Sizemore over on court number 2. And on court number 3, Hallgren and Slater of USC with an advantage over Dyer and Hernandez. Talk about the great players coming out of Florida. We've talked about the national picture. Florida State looks to have a good team this season.
Florida State, one of the favorites in my mind, especially early in the season. In terms of depth, overall talent, lots of experience. Florida State and Hawaii are my 2 front runners. And then you have a team like UCLA not far behind.
Yeah, as we talked to Stein Metzger, head coach of UCLA earlier today, he said, I tell you what, Hawaii, as soon as we started playing them, we thought, okay, we need to step our game up. Hawaii looks that good. Bustamante, just a little wide.
The cut shot 1 inch wide. Great idea. Good dig, nice read. She gets her feet to the ball and goes with the tough shot instead of the over line, but I like the idea anyways.
Bustamante up, no one on. And the tape is unkind.
The ball set a little bit inside and off, but Abil Bustamante needs to get her feet to the ball and use her long frame at 5'10". She can get her feet to the ball and move the ball around the court. Again, just cleared since February 6th, so I feel like she's kind of playing into competition shape.
Yeah, only about 3 weeks then. And as you look at this combination of Bauer and Rowe, the junior, kind of driving the bus in terms of communication, but Bauer, you can see her being a future leader for this team.
Brooke Bauer does not play anything like a freshman. You know, usually freshmen come in, their eyes are kind of big, a little bit intimidated by this stage that they're on, but Brooke Bauer is playing very mature, moving the ball around, not intimidated by anyone.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the polls reflect next week. This is what the poll was this week. USC was perfect coming into the week at 4-0. Hawaii, Florida State at 2-4. You already talked about them. Who else should we keep an eye on?
Well, I think LSU's been impressive. I think Cal Poly's the sleeper. South Carolina had some good wins over the weekend as well. Arizona, I haven't seen them yet, but look forward to. But Todd Rogers at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, one of the teams to beat Pepperdine last weekend.
Yeah, and for the Pac-12, 5 teams in the top 20. Very impressive for this Pac-12 conference, one of the leaders in beach volleyball.
Saturday in Zuma, these teams will match up again with UCLA. So another chance for some wins and victories to kind of affect that ranking.
Yep, and then that'll be the last time that Anna Collier and Nina Matthews square off until Gulf Shores, potentially. Let's take a look at the action over on court 3, where USC's pair of Hallgren and Slater have a lead over Dyer and Hernandez. USC at 18, rough serve, beautiful pass. And Pepperdine answers back. It's now 18-14.
Hallgren and Slater, a lot of experience together. They're not what you would call a new team, so that's a nice, comfortable position for them to be on, especially when they're under pressure. But good lead at the threes court, 18-14.
Yeah, and if people weren't watching earlier, they're not a new team, even though they're true freshmen, because they were playing together a lot before they ever got to USC.
And all summer long, they competed in all the big tournaments. They might have got together their junior year. I remember them playing a lot of junior tournaments together, and they got really good their senior year in high school as a pair.
And so a timeout taken. Or is it going to be a slow walk? We'll see. We'll return over to court one at the moment. Rowe up blocking. Cannon goes around.
Beautiful execution. Therese Cannon barreling in on her approach, holding the defender in the angle, and then going over line.
4-point lead for Bauer and Rowe. Rowe sets. Bauer closed the door, chasing it out. Cannot get there. Cannon shut the door.
Therese Cannon, huge presence at the net, starting to become a factor. But Pepperdine with the lead.
Abril Bustamante serving for SC as they trail by 2.
Pepperdine 3-point advantage in this first set.
Yeah, what do you think has been the key to Pepperdine's success in this first set?
I just feel like they've been steady. They've been minimizing their errors. They're putting pressure on with their service game, and a couple unforced errors by USC.
Bustamante off-roads block. SC point. Rowe up to attack.
Maddie Rowe answering with a nice side out from court 1. Up 19-16 and the side change.
Yep, we're going to take a look at courts 1 and 3 right now. It is set point on the right side of your screen. Court number 3, Hallgren and Slater, the true freshman pair for SC. What a tough serve.
Love that short serve right in the middle. Heidi Dyer went down, grabbing her wrist. Hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, never got back up after that. Uncharacteristic for her. We return to court number 1. Cannon unloads.
Therese Cannon, good offensive range. She's got power, and obviously at 6'3", has nice range, really disciplined with her footwork to the ball.
Bustamante, powerful cross. Cannon really making a difference, closing the door.
Brooke Bauer, usually that ball's going to clear most blocks, but Therese Cannon is big. Brooke Bauer needs to go a little bit higher, and Pepperdine wants a timeout to slow down the USC momentum.
Yeah, Bustamante and Cannon have pulled back. Meanwhile, let's dip over to court number 2. Pepperdine, Quiggle and Kraft leading USC. Score is 20-17. Pepperdine now, as Quiggle and Kraft are at set point. Joy Dennis having to chase it down, put up a very hittable ball.
Wow, what a run by Joy Dennis to try and keep that ball alive. And the referee calls that swing in by Brianna Sizemore. Impressive. Pepperdine was motioning that ball was out, but Bert Fuller on top of it. 18 serving 20 in this first set.
Joy Dennis back to serve. They were waiting for the score courtside to get properly adjusted. And a service error at set point. So set number 1 goes to Quiggle and Kraft.
I thought that Pepperdine had the advantage there. And they finish out that first set. We're back to ones. USC down by 1.
Rowe just poked it the outside of the sideline.
There was not any spin off the hand of Maddie Rowe, and it just carried out. The idea was perfect, execution a little off.
Tied up 19 apiece. Abril Bustamante's serve goes a little long, and it is set point Pepperdine. The official going to get down just to pick up his pen. Brooke Bauer serving. Cannon. One hand pickup. Net violation on SC.
Pepperdine on a net violation wins that first set. That's a big win at ones.
So Pepperdine and USC tied up at 1 apiece. Second set of the second flight coming up next.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
Welcome back, Merle Norman Stadium on the campus of USC, opening day of Pac-12's coverage of beach volleyball. Number 5 versus number 1, Pepperdine and SC all locked up at 1 apiece. 3 courts of concurrent action on court 1. Rowe and Bauer with a set 1 victory. On court 2, Quiggle and Kraft with a set 1 victory. But on court 3, we'll turn our attention right now as Hallgren and Slater picked up a set 1 victory. Pepperdine has been answering back in set number 2. Dyer, the crafty shot.
I've been impressed by these 2 freshmen executing at a really high level. Obviously 2 big players in Sammy Slater, the lefty, number 4, and Haley Hallgren, number 12, playing on the left side for USC.
Taking a look at it. Anna Collier says it's out.
Gigi Hernandez going after that deep corner, but John Rodriguez getting off his stand to check the ball mark. A centimeter out, according to John Rodriguez. But Pepperdine in the second set up by 2 points when USC won the first set.
They got another look at it. Power coming the other way and an ace serve.
Beautiful, aggressive jump serve by Haley. Going cross court, finding that back line.
You know, we can remember when Kelly Clays, I believe it was, and Sarah Hughes, really, they came in and they were the first to declare sand only. That was something new back then. Now you're looking at this freshman pair of Hallgren and Slater, who are already seasoned before they arrive. Chasing it down.
Good run down by Sammy Slater, but Heidi Dyer takes care of that tight ball over. Pepperdine up still 2 points.
The starting point for these freshman athletes that come in now is so much higher than the starting point for the athletes even 3 and 4 years ago.
Because beach volleyball is one of those sports where you get better with experience. The more times you're in a certain situation, you learn. You get better almost with age. So the fact that these players are competing at a high level when they're young and at the junior level, they come into college and they can contribute immediately. That time, Sammy Slater saw the angle block, went angle over just wide on the execution.
Heidi Dyer serving. Not much room for error in this matchup between Pepperdine and USC. Both teams suffered losses to UCLA today, who went home 2-0. Somebody is going to go home 0-2.
What a serve by Sammy Slater, getting Gigi Hernandez in trouble on serve receive. Important to get your platform out and track that ball as a passer.
Service errors trading back and forth. Slater up, unloads.
I feel like Gigi Hernandez has a more aggressive serve. She's getting some float on that, but if she puts a little bit more pace behind that, Sammy Slater won't have such an easy time passing that ball.
Haley Hallgren's serve is to Dyer. Coming up behind, no one on. Unloads, Dyer.
What a set by Gigi Hernandez too, and Heidi Dyer getting her feet all the way there to terminate.
Dyer serve to Slater. She comes outside with Dyer in front of her, pokes, just goes a little bit long, and so Dyer and Hernandez extend their lead to +3. More action coming up after the break.
We were never.
Monday at 5 on Pac-12 Network.
Welcome back, Merle Norman Stadium. Second flight of action in the final duel of the day. And let's go to the action on court number 2 now. Pepperdine's Corinne Quiggle and Deanna Kraft won set number 1 over Joy Dennis and Brianna Sizemore. Quiggle and Kraft were the ones team against UCLA. Both these teams came up short against UCLA. Second set is a close second set, 9-8. Now 10-8, Kraft and Quiggle. Quiggle plays that one off the net. Dennis trying to chase it down, can't get there.
How about that save by Quiggle to keep that ball live? Looked like it caught the top of the tape, but she controlled it in Kraft. Fast attack.
Well, you talked about Quiggle from Florida, been living with her family in Manhattan Beach, getting a lot of time on the sand during the off season as well.
Well, she graduated from high school early and started in January at Pepperdine. So she's a young senior, but 5'10", came out of Florida, good base of experience, and has just really worked on her game all summer long. Plays in the pro AVP qualifiers, made some main draws, really talented defender.
The team, for that reason, perhaps has been keying on Kraft for the most part. 10 kills for Kraft, and she has been seeing the majority of the serves. Right between them on that one.
Ace down the middle. They need to communicate. Every point important, especially on the court 2 pair.
And so while they're in a timeout on court 2, let's go back to court number 3. And it is a Pepperdine leading 14-11. Slater pass, Hallgren set. Sharp cut.
Good range by Sammy Slater. We turned away and Pepperdine went on a run, but Pepperdine staying on Sammy Slater, not going after Haley Hallgren.
Dyer receives a serve.
Heidi Dyer effective on that sharp angle. It's kind of like a slice shot, not like a true hit, but it gets down to the sand fast.
Slater pass. Dyer waiting. And just, you can see the vision of Sammy Slater.
And I think Sammy Slater's siding out really well. Either Pepperdine has to pick up their serve or make her move a little bit. Little tweak in the pass, move middle, move short, something.
Hallgren and Slater won set number 1. Dyer and Hernandez plan to extend this. It's a 1-1 tie between these duels, so it's going to be won on these 3 courts. A bit of a race. You're only not even halfway aware of what's happening on the other courts until it comes down to one final court.
I don't even think you should look around. I think you should focus on your court, take care of business. That's really all you can control.
Look at that put away. by Gigi Hernandez.
Gigi Hernandez, when she comes in aggressive like that, her offensive range is tough to stop. She's got finesse, she's got power, she's way over the net.
Slater getting the majority of the passes, as you mentioned. Over. Slater sets Hallgren. And here comes Gigi Hernandez on an open net.
Sammy Slater tried to get up to get after that ball, just could not get her legs under her. Big point by Pepperdine. Gigi Hernandez on the dig.
Yeah, now it's a sizable lead. 4 points in set number 2. Dyer and Hernandez looking to push it to a third set. Put away by Slater.
Doesn't seem like they're having a lot of luck going at Sammy Slater, but in this second set, Pepperdine with the lead.
Serve is long. Pepperdine extends their lead. Dyer serving.
Looks like Heidi Dyer's going to take away the angle on the block.
Sammy Slater picks it up. Open net. Lefty sends it just a little long.
Good job by Heidi Dyer on the first serve, putting Sammy Slater in a little bit of trouble on serve receive.
Dyer looking for that back line, goes too strong. And you can tell by looking at Slater and Hallgren, hearing their communication a little bit, that they have plenty of experience together. They know the work that lies ahead of them. Hernandez now.
Well executed line shot. Gigi Hernandez getting her feet to the ball. Good pace off of her hand. What a turnaround.
Yep, and it's a side switch and a set point for Dyer and Hernandez. Looking to push it to a third set. Dyer and Hernandez in the driver's seat, +5. Slater pass. Hammered by Sammy Slater. They have work to do. It'll be set point number 2.
This is an important play right here if you're Pepperdine. Both Heidi Dyer and Gigi Hernandez need to remain aggressive at this point, even though they've got that nice cushion.
Dyer attacking. And aggressive she is. Dyer and Hernandez push it to a third set. Court 3 is going 3. So we're going to return to the action on court number 2. USC and Pepperdine. 4-point differential for USC. It's another turnaround as Joy Dennis and Brianna Sizemore, 17-13. Well, we're going to take this break and go to our State Farm, get to a better state. You remember in the first flight between these two teams, the 4 pairs, Skylar Caputo and Alexis Filippone with a win over SC.
And it came down to some big digs. Skylar Caputo was everywhere, and it's what she did after the dig. She was digging the ball up and then transitioning, setting her partner up, and that was the difference.
Love the left arm stab for Skylar Caputo. That is our State Farm get to a better state. Returning to the action now on court 2 at Merle Norman Stadium. Joy Dennis and Brianna Sizemore, a 4-point lead in set number 2. Dennis, ball off the antenna.
Good dig by Joy Dennis, just unable to score that for a point. Pepperdine trying to crawl back. After winning the first set, they trail by 3, 14-17.
Yeah, and Joy Dennis had 5 service errors in this second set, so you really get an idea of how well USC is playing to be ahead by this much despite those errors.
Corinne Quiggle in a good spot to dig that ball, just can't control it for Pepperdine.
Quiggle sets.
Beautiful cut shot by Deanna Kraft. Pepperdine, in order to make a run, they're going to need to serve the ball tough and really capitalize on their defense.
Joy Dennis chases it down. Quiggle sets, the blocker is there.
How about that serve? And then Joy Dennis runs it down, keeps it alive for USC. But Pepperdine keeps the pressure on.
Kraft and Quiggle, this is a big moment for them. They're down at 2. They won the first set, and Pepperdine needs them now. They're being pushed to the third set on court number 3. Court 1 is tight as well.
Brianna Sizemore, good looking side out play. She comes in aggressive. She's big and strong. She's got a heavy arm, so that really, she's already established her power, and then the shot over the line works. Gustavo Hocha keeping his team focused.
Kraft has been consistent for Pepperdine. 7 kills in the first game, 6 in the second set for Kraft. Taking a look at the action on the right side of your screen, court 1, pairs 1, Bauer and Rowe on their way to perhaps picking up another Pepperdine point. On the left side of your screen, Corinne Quiggle puts it down as they again chip at that USC lead. Right side of the screen, Bustamante, Doug. Rowe at the net, blocking Cannon. And used, the ball goes out. Left side, Joy Dennis, off the block. Little ball, Quiggle is crafty.
Love the fire from Deanna Kraft, and yes, Corinne Quiggle is really crafty. Good decision to drop that ball short when everybody's on their heels.
Well, this is a big point, left side of the screen, because Kraft and Quiggle have been fighting their way back. Of course, a timeout taken to slow that Pepperdine momentum.
Yeah, you want to ice the other team, make them think about it, and then really regroup with your coach and get focused on the game plan.
While they're taking a break, we'll go full into court number 1 and take a look at Bustamante trying to fight off a Pepperdine set point.
Clutch side out. Match point for Pepperdine.
Yeah, second match point for Pep. Can they get another point in this duel for their Waves? Cannon. Pepperdine picks up another point as the pair of Bauer and Rowe respond.
Really impressed by the maturity of Brooke Bauer and just the physicality. She's really got all the tools to be a really successful player. Just a freshman.
Pepperdine now leads this duel 2-1. And that puts the pressure on courts 2 and 3. On court 2, it has been Quiggle and Kraft battling back after they were down to Dennis and Sizemore. One point lead for Dennis and Sizemore. Serve in the hands of Deanna Kraft. And a service error puts USC at set point. Sizemore's serve. Quiggle. And a tough pass.
Wow, Brianna Sizemore was all over that play. Just did not take care of the contact. Focus on every contact. Opening the door for Pepperdine to stay alive.
You mentioned it earlier, thinking about your hit will cost you that pass. And the service error to end things. We will go to a third set on court number 2. And so the action going to court number 3. Pepperdine is leading 2-1. And so if Pepperdine's Dyer and Hernandez are able to win this third set, it's a short set, then Pepperdine takes the duel.
Pepperdine serving the ball. Gigi Hernandez, 5 serving 6.
USC had not lost at Merle Norman Stadium since March of 2016 until they lost to UCLA earlier today. Now they find themselves in the unfamiliar position of having to win both of these remaining sets in order to win this duel. Put away, but dug by Gigi Hernandez. Hallgren, Little, picked up again by Hernandez. Great defense on court number 3.
Gigi had 2 good digs in that rally. One set off the net, one pretty good location. She needs to feel the urgency, in my mind, to terminate. She's got the capability to be a little bit more aggressive.
Slater's serve is to Hernandez. Dyer setting. A little set with a little roll.
Really good set, and Gigi Hernandez getting on that short, pokey line. It's interesting, Pepperdine scored a point off Hallgren and then served Slater. I say you get a point off somebody, you go right back at him.
They go back to Slater. Slater puts it away.
Haley Hallgren's like, thank you for not serving me. The last ball, I hit it in the tape, and you're going at my partner who's bombing. I'm not saying Haley Hallgren can't bomb. She can too, but last swing was an error.
Side switch. Slater and Hallgren down the line.
USC really confident. They played together a long time. This is an important play right here if you're Pepperdine.
Gigi Hernandez turns it to the line.
USC gave her that little line alley and she took it, but well executed by Pepperdine.
Hernandez serves Hallgren. Passes at the net. Slater's all over it. Chasing it out and unable to climb over her partner to put it back.
Good hustle play. Hernandez touches it defensively. Pepperdine can't do anything. Sammy Slater on the back line for USC.
Gigi Hernandez for Pepperdine unloads.
How about that? Big time swing. I felt like the block was a little off to the side, kind of opened up the net for Hernandez, and she stays aggressive. You see the ball is a little bit to the left from our view of the block. You want to be lined up, nose on the block, no matter what part of the court you're blocking. Wow, how about that ping pong tennis, whatever you want to call it. Good reaction play by Dyer to tie it up 10-all in this third set. Wow, that's just all reaction.
Tied up at 10 apiece. We are going the distance on the first day of Pac-12 Network's beach volleyball coverage. If Hallgren and Slater are able to pull out this set and this pairing, it moves all over to to court number 2 for the 2 pairs. Ball's good.
Haley Hallgren touches the back line. Nice deep swing.
Gigi Hernandez seeing the majority of the serves. Little shot, picked up.
Ooh, what a dig by Sammy. Slater hits that ball deep middle, and it's deep enough in the court where Gigi Hernandez has to make a move for it instead of letting it drop.
Holly, what's your theory when there's no blockers and somebody dropping it short in front of you? Isn't it easier to move that way at that point?
If you're the dropper?
If you're the dropper, to move forward.
If you're the dropper, you're retreating off the net.
But they were already off.
Yeah. Well, in that case, it's easier for sure.
Just didn't feel like they were challenging them enough.
No.
We're popping over to court number 2 right now, where Dennis and Sizemore, Kraft, and Quiggle are all tied up at 4s.
Wow. Little touch at the net by Kraft. Quiggle can't get it over. These teams battling. Sizemore and Dennis up by 1.
These are 2 of the pillars of collegiate beach volleyball. Still a fairly young sport. Pepperdine and USC, along with Florida State, led the way in the original pack of beach volleyball teams. Both of these teams lost to UCLA earlier today. The only thing they hate more than that is losing to each other. Real rivals, Pepperdine and SC, in this sport.
USC up by 1, 11 looking at 12 with Gigi Hernandez serving.
Hallgren. Gigi Hernandez digs. Dyer makes the most of it.
That ball was dug a little bit tight, but good mental decision by Heidi Dyer to just get it over the net. Clips the tape. It was with her left hand, too. Not easy to do. Catching USC by surprise, 12-all.
Ball long and handing the point to Hallgren and Slater. Hallgren and Slater win this one, then it will all rest on the shoulders of the 2 pairs. If Pepperdine is able to pull out this set, then they win the duel. Hernandez hitting. Slater unable to change direction.
Good touch at the net by Hallgren. I think this USC team is better with Hallgren at the net and Sammy Slater playing defense. So that was a good opportunity to score, just deflected the wrong way.
Hallgren. And then Dyer just has her wits about her, goes over towards the line.
Pepperdine has been scoring on Hallgren. The last few points have been going at Haley Hallgren.
Dyer and Hernandez, match point, dual point for Pepperdine. Slater says not yet.
And a perfect pass by Haley Hallgren. Delivers it up there. Sammy Slater aggressive, tying it up.
This is why you want to play collegiate beach volleyball. The team is on the line. Dyer and Hernandez, match point number 2. Gigi Hernandez for the duel. Not happening.
Clutch side out by Sammy Slater. These freshmen fighting back and all tied up at 15 apiece on court 3.
This USC men's team is into it. They're all standing up now, and they're 6'8". Watching it all here. So tied up at 15 apiece on court number 3. Tied up at 8 apiece on court number 2. If Pepperdine wins, it's all over. If USC wins on court number 3, then it goes to court 2. Gigi Hernandez, dug. It's a risk. And a net violation on Dyer and Hernandez. Here's the opportunity for Hallgren and Slater to tie up this duel and move all the pressure over to court number 2. Hernandez's pass, a little bit errant. Slater ready to eat it up. SC wins, and this duel is tied 2-0. The crowd now will rush over to court 2.
Oh my goodness. Our first triple header, and it comes down to this.
Absolutely. This is what makes it such a great team sport. Pepperdine and USC tied up at 2 apiece.
Big time win by the 2 freshmen from USC, Haley Hallgren and Sammy Slater.
Yep. And meanwhile, on court 2, Kraft, Quiggle, Dennis, Sizemore. Couldn't be more even. 26 kills for USC in this match, 27 for Pepperdine in this match. The duel rests on the shoulders of these 2 teams in the final 5 points in the case of Kraft and Quiggle.
Love it. Joy Dennis, a sophomore. Brianna Sizemore, first year in the lineup, is a junior. Corinne Quiggle, a senior, and Deanna Kraft, a sophomore.
And this is when you know, right? We talked about you aren't looking at the other courts. Now all of a sudden you're in a timeout and all the fans have moved there. Both teams have moved there. And you know, it's all come down to you. Pepperdine and SC looking to finish the day 1-1. Somebody's going home 0-2. One of the most elite teams in the country is going home without a win today.
I think everybody who came into this triple header knew that they were going to be challenged and pushed and learn from this experience. So I think everyone's going to learn and go home and figure some things out. That time, that ball hit long by Brianna Sizemore. Corinne Quiggle and Deanna Kraft keeping the pressure on her.
You mentioned these teams will face off again in Zuma Beach and Pepperdine's turf. Windy coming up this weekend. Dennis setting. Put away by Sizemore.
Brianna Sizemore, heavy arm. Redshirted last year so she could learn the game, really up her experience, her touches, understand the game better. And she's doing a good job tonight with Joy Dennis.
Who do you think has the advantage here between these 2 teams?
Well, prior to the match, I would have said Kraft and Quiggle. I think Sizemore and Dennis are great athletes, big physical players, but in terms of experience and ball control, I thought Pepperdine had the advantage.
They're staying away from Quiggle on the pass and her crafty wrist.
There you see the tough serve going at Deanna Kraft, and then Corinne Quiggle trying to better the ball, but she needs to help Deanna Kraft maybe take a little bit more court and serve receive, take the pressure off Deanna.
This is the best of collegiate beach volleyball when it all comes down to one pair, and it doesn't matter which pair it is. It can be 5s, 1s, or in this case 2s. Put away.
Big time cross-court swing by Deanna Kraft. 2-point lead. Every point so important.
First day of Pac-12 beach volleyball action. We've been on the air for more than 6 hours, bringing you some of the top teams in the country. Off the hands of Deanna Kraft, SC point.
That was a play that I thought if Deanna Kraft either pulled off the net or did something different than an angle block, they would have scored a point.
Quiggle puts it away.
Just to throw one over at Quiggle, see if she's kind of lost her rhythm, but no, good fast arm swing on top of the ball for the Pepperdine kill.
And another put away, this time by Sizemore.
Brianna Sizemore is hitting that ball hard if Corinne Quiggle can't control it. 13-12, they make the switch. Pepperdine up by 1. Not feeling the wind as much. You see the flags in the 2 corners just laying there flat, so wind less of a factor.
Now, we took wind and sun out of it because we've been here so long at this point. First night televised match from Merle Norman Stadium. And look how beautiful it is here. I mean, the courts are gorgeous. The crowd is into it. Kraft and Quiggle with a 1-point lead. Third set. Reminder, the third set, of course, is only to 15 points. You must win by 2. Little shot over the line, wide.
Wow. Wow. This is getting exciting. Corinne Quiggle is clutch, and she chooses the right shot, just misses it an inch wide. Sizemore running that direction.
This is a rematch of last year's NCAA championship match. USC and Pepperdine. SC came out on top to win their back-to-back two-time defending NCAA champions.
But it came down to the wire. When we saw it at the NCAA tournament, it was a third set, and I believe it was Nicolette Martin, Therese Cannon against Heidi Dyer and Skylar Caputo.
It was, and there was plenty of fire there, of course, always from Nicolette Martin. Now we've got new pairings, some new players in Sizemore. And how about this? Gustavo Rocha was with Pepperdine, and now he's with USC.
Exactly, and Marcio Sicoli, one of his co-coaches who he worked with a long time in the other bench, or on the other bench.
Couldn't ask for a better matchup to start things off for our Pac-12 Network beach volleyball coverage. Nobody is as committed to beach volleyball as Pac-12 Network's 34 duels on our air this year. Sizemore serving. Quiggle set. Kraft on an open net.
Enough pop on that ball that Joy Dennis can't retreat and dig that ball.
For the duel. I'm on the left, says Dennis. Snaps down, and Quiggle will swing. Pounding and big digs. Corinne Quiggle. Crafty wrist comes down to her, and Pepperdine avenges last year's championship loss with a win over USC on their home turf.
And coming into this match, USC, prior to UCLA into this day, USC was undefeated. Now 2 losses on the day, 4-2 on the season. But Pepperdine answered the call at the end of that third set.
Pepperdine celebrating. It came down to Quiggle and Kraft in a third set, all the way to the wire, a 15-13 third set win.
But good test for both teams. I think with injuries, teams looking for depth at the 5th spot, as we know from Pepperdine. Lots of good questions answered, and I think some questions remain for both teams.
What a day of action on our Pac-12 Network's air. A triple header. UCLA goes home with 2 wins. Pepperdine gets a win over USC, and Anna Collier and USC got some questions answered about what they need to do.
This year is wide open for the title.
So long from Merle Norman Stadium for my partner Holly McPeak and our fantastic Pac-12 Network crew. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson. More beach volleyball on Pac-12 Network's air March 10th. We hope you'll join us then.
We now join this program already